Welcome in, everybody, to Boise State Patch Notes, the weekly podcast where we get to meet the people behind Boise State's dominant esports program. And I've got a pair of guests today that are happy to be here, I know for sure. Maybe just wishing he had queued that Valorant game a little bit faster. We got Coach K, the assistant coach here, and Griffian, one of the Valorant players. And let's start with you, Griffian, because you're a player. How long have you been here? What year are you in school? I kind of gave away what game you play, but what role do you play in your game?
So I came here about 2 years ago as a freshman and currently a junior. So been really fun since I've been here. And what else?
What do you play? What's your role in Valorant?
Oh yeah, when I first came here, I was playing duelist, but I've since transitioned more into initiator role and IGLing this year, picking that up.
And then what are you studying right now?
Civil engineering. I was studying game design when I first came here, but that just didn't really feel like what I wanted to do. So I took a couple semesters to figure it out, and now I'm doing civil engineering, and I'm pretty happy with this.
Nice. All right. I don't have to ask you what year in school you are, though, Coach K, but when did you get here?
I got here about a year ago, so this is my second year at Boise State working.
Assistant coach, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What, all the games? Is there a specific game?
I work mostly with Valorant, League of Legends, Super Smash Brothers, and then the other fighting games titles. So
There you go. That's a full play. Are you able to keep up with Doc? I think that's what everyone wants to know. Are you able to keep up with Doc?
I mean, Doc works a lot. I also work a lot, but I mean, it's not like Doc has a lot of responsibilities that I don't have. So there you go.
There you go. All right. Since you work on Valorant, you play on Valorant. Let's focus on Valorant. You're in a lot of different leagues this year, right?
We are.
Tell me a little bit about them. They just all started, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, kind of just do a quick rundown what leagues you play in, how you guys have done so far.
So the big one's PC and Division 1. PC just started last week. We did pretty well in our first game. Have some harder matches coming up. But at the end of the year, I guess next semester, we had to play in a LAN out in Vegas, and that'll be really fun. Last year was super fun. Love going out there. Division 1 has been a bit harder, definitely a lot harder competition, but still really fun. And I think a competitive league is really, really fun as well. And the same thing with PC. It's looking like we're going to have a LAN out in Vegas, and that'll be fun as fuck.
Nice. And then what is from the assistant coach, right? Because in a normal sport, right, Coach K, you play in one league. You know who you're playing. So what is it like trying to prepare for multiple different leagues where there might be different metas or just different teams in general? What does that look like?
It's a little bit different. I think it's helpful that it's 2 different days. So there's like a Monday match and a Wednesday match, and so there's a little bit of extra time. I don't know nearly as much about their game as they do, so I just try to do what I can, like kind of looking at what the opponent's doing and putting together a few plays that are easy. And I usually hand it off to Griffian because he's the IGL and he'll make the calls in the end. So yeah, I think that's there. We also have another coach who works with them called Matt, who works remotely in Nam. He's a very good player, and he understands the game a lot, so he helps us out a lot. So it's like a really, really helpful to have him when we're playing so many matches. It just helps us prepare better.
And for you, Griffian, what does that look like, right? I know, it's always kind of weird when you're here basically to play video games, right? Mm-hmm. So take me through that sort of student-athlete experience as an esport player. What does that look like? How do you handle the people who are like, why are you gaming right now? Like, come out tonight or whatever. How does that look like for you?
I think I'm lucky enough to be in a place where I'm surrounded by a lot of support. People know what I do, and they support me. Family, friends, they all support me. They watch our games, so that's really fun. And I've always loved games as a kid, and that's a passion that has always been supported.
And I want to ask a follow-up because I asked this to a couple of the Overwatch players last week. Was there any ever not awkward, but like weird conversations with family members when you told them like why you're coming here, right? Is it one of those like, wait, they want you to play video games? Did you ever have those kind of conversations? I feel like a lot of kids have had that now that it's more in the limelight.
I think my parents have always been that their kind of focus is it's not really a career that you can pursue. And I don't necessarily think that's true nowadays, but it's a very hard thing to get into. And so that's always been my secondary goal. College has been my main focus through and through. My parents support that wholeheartedly, and they support just having esports on the side.
Nice. And I think, Coach K, we didn't get into it. I think your background's been in esports for a little longer, right? Like, so what did you do before you came to Boise State?
Yeah, so I was, I guess, in the League of Legends pro scene for pretty long time, like
Nice.
doing like I did media first, and then I did coaching for like 8-10 years. So I think but I did League of Legends, which is not a title that's like one of our main titles.
Yeah.
But and there's still like things like discipline structure that I try to have and bring over while I'm kind of taking their cue on how they play their game and stuff like that, and figuring out like how I can help. So I think that's mostly what I'm going for. But yeah, it's a very different landscape. But I think I do like the inherent discipline that comes from collegiate esports, because you're not just focused on the game. Like in pro, they have everything taken care of for them, more or less, and they just play. And so I think there's just a better understanding of basically how to take care of yourself, how to structure your time, how much work it actually takes to pursue, like Griffin said, like college as first priority, but then also really, really being high level at your game. It takes a lot of dedication and effort that I think is already built in that I don't have to necessarily teach them, right? So, yeah.
And I know this has kind of been an ongoing debate, and I don't even know if you would have an answer, but I'm curious your thoughts. In traditional sports, right, it is that college to pro pipeline. Like, that exists. It's very clear. That's not the case in esports, just for a handful of reasons. Do you think that could ever become something, or do you think that's just one of those where just because of how things work out, it doesn't quite make sense?
That's kind of why I wanted to go to collegiate esports. I think I watched, especially in my game league, the Tier 2 scene was just systematically deprioritized. And even though I was kind of working for an LCS org at the time, and they removed their franchise spot, and I could have looked for another LCS position, I wanted to work in collegiate because I think it makes more sense to kind of lift up or to help build up collegiate and sort of create a better pathway for people who want to go pro and people who also might want to use their game to get a degree and do something else, right? So I think it just would be nice to build that part up a little bit more so that it gets more recognition in the Tier 2 space, especially with Tier 2, especially by Riot Games, being systematically kind of defunded over and over again. So, yeah.
And so I guess that perfectly plays into what I want to ask you, Griffin. What does it look like for you going forward, right? You said you're a junior, so you're an upperclassman. Is there something there where you're like, hey, after I finish this, I want to try to go pro in Valorant? Or is it, I like my time here, and I'm gonna take my degree that it helped me earn, and I'm gonna go somewhere else, and I'll just have video games on the side? Like, what are your sort of future plans as of right now? I mean, obviously nothing is stuck in stone, but what do you kind of have on your agenda after school?
I still think for me personally, my main focus is getting my degree and then going to that field. However, like I said, it's a secondary goal to do esports, and Riot Games does a really good job at allowing players to pretty much prove themselves through the game. You don't have to it's less about luck, I think, and more about skill to be able to make it. And so if that ends up happening, and that'd be great, but just not the main goal.
And I asked this yesterday, or last week, to the two Overwatch players. I'll ask both of you, a little different because you're a coach, but if you couldn't play Valorant, right? You woke up tomorrow, Valorant was gone, but you still wanted to play a game. What game would you want to play? Or would you just give up games entirely?
I probably would play another shooter. I think Apex Legends has been one that's come up recently that I've really, really enjoyed. Pro scene's not nearly as there as in Valorant, but it's still a really fun game. Otherwise, maybe CS. That'd be a fun one.
And I guess for you, Coach Cal, I'll frame it a little differently, right? Let's say you could go back in time 10 years. League of Legends doesn't exist, but you're going to pick what game you're going to be a coach for, just like you were in League. Is there a title you would pick?
I mean, I always kind of like fighting games. Sort of a big fan. People say it's weird, but I mean, I mained top, and we like to pretend that the team play doesn't exist anyway, so it's fine. Yeah.
And then as we start to wrap this up, because you guys have been great, but Griffin, what are your Valorant goals for this year, right? Obviously, I know for school, it's, ace all your tests, but for Valorant, if there's one thing, and you don't have to give away any trade secrets, right, in case somebody's watching, if there's one thing at the end of this year, you're like, I'm glad I got better at X in Valorant, what would it be?
I think just working together as a team to really take down those bigger name teams. That's always been a struggle for us.
Any team on the tip of your tongue? You can say it.
I mean, we're playing Winthrop this week. We played him yesterday, and that game kind of got postponed. But I feel like we've done pretty well so far, and it'd be fun to beat them. But
Okay.
I know my freshman year we've played good teams like St. Clair. Last year we played Northwood. Just a lot of like really good teams. We've always been able to beat like the lower level teams, but that like top like 15, 20 teams, we've had such a hard time getting past that level. And I feel like this year we have our best shot to do it because I feel like we're the best we've ever been.
And same to you, Coach K. At the end of the year, is there anything specifically coaching-wise that you're really looking to kind of say by the end of this year that you're glad that you got better at that? I mean, I know with a bunch of different titles, it's a little harder.
Yeah, and I think just as much as possible making it feel like the players got better and that they didn't like waste their time, right? Like that's my main thing is just feel like you get what you get out of it, and then just like if you want to be pushed harder, hopefully I'm able to do that. If you just kind of want to have fun and like feel like you have structure and a hobby that keeps you occupied while you're getting your degree, hopefully I can provide that, whatever works, right? So all the students with the different game titles I work with have different goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say Valorant's very sweaty, but some of the other students might be kind of competing on the side, and it's not their number one priority, right? So, yeah.
That makes sense. I appreciate both of you guys joining us again. It's Boise State Patch Notes, Coach K, Griffin. Really appreciate you guys having you on. Hopefully now you can get in your Valorant queue, and now you know. Make sure you queue a little faster next time.
Thank you.